Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Can you hear me? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just trying to test, guys, the sound. Can you hear me okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear my sound? Fantastic, fantastic. So if you can hear me, hopefully you will see what I'm showing too. Great, great, great stuff. So let me know if you can see my slides. Because I'm trying to share my screen with you now, guys. So you should hopefully see my slides in a minute. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so we will begin now. Because last week we had these challenges with sound, I'll keep an eye on the chat. So if for some reason the sound disappears, or anything like that, do give me a shout, but hopefully technology will not let us down today, and hopefully we'll be able to go through. I've got my phone in front of me as well, so in case, something happens, do put it on WhatsApp and Facebook and all of that, so to make sure that we're on track. All right. But nevertheless, thank you very much, guys, for joining on this morning. I hope you're going to get some great value from this webinar. So without further ado, let's get started. So today is all about mindset. This is not a skills training. You will not learn a lot of skills. This is more about motivation, about your mindset, about really the way we look at owning a business. So first of all, network marketing, why it's all worth it, why it's worth it, because there will be good days, but there will be bad days too, and difficult times and things like that. So when those difficult times come, um, why is it worth it? Well, the reason why it's worth to be in network marketing, first of all, is because of the career you create. It's the only career that I know where you don't have to get any education, or formal education, that is. You don't have to go to university, etc., and you can start from scratch and create an income that is much higher than a lot of professionals are. Also, the freedom you will enjoy, because here obviously you will be able to enjoy a lot more time freedom, because very often you are able to work from home and things like that, so that helps too. Also, the lives you will touch, because inevitably in this business you will change other people's lives, and that is really, really, really great, because the fact that you are able to impact on so many people's lives, it is unbelievable, by helping them to earn more, to have a greater life. Also, the people you will meet, and so many people you will meet in this business, as part of it, and it's so, so, so great, um, to be able to make friends and almost to become like a family, with some people, at least for me, that's how it feels. Some of the people, that I can't believe that, I met them a few years ago, and I didn't know them. Now they're like a part of my family. Also, the places you will see, one of the unique benefits of being in network marketing is that you get to travel and to places that you probably would never have visited unless you were in the business, so that's again such, if you enjoy traveling, that is amazing thing. And number 6 is causes you can contribute to. We always say it as a joke, but really it's serious. You can't really help the poor if you're one of them. So poor don't need another poor person. What they need is for you to become successful, for you to become wealthy, and then to give back to those who maybe are not able to make the sort of income that you are. And then lastly, number seven is the person you will become in the process. And that's again, like Jim Rohn says, he says, make a goal to become a millionaire, not because of the money in the bank account, but for what it makes of you to become one. Because for you to have something you've never had and for you to live like you've never lived, guess what? You will become a much better person too in the process of reaching those targets. So you'll become more confident, more better at speaking publicly, better at presenting, better at communicating with people, better at looking after people, and things like that. So that really helps in all areas of our life. Also, we mentioned the dream versus income cycle. And very often when people are young, when they're children, they have big, big dreams, and they have things like, I want to have a nice house, I want to have a nice car, nice holidays every year, private education to my children, holiday home, Rolex watch, what you name it, the list can go on and on and on and on what people want in this ideal life. Imagine if you had ideal life, what would you like to have in that ideal life? And these things might come into that picture, like a house, like a car, and things like that. Now, this is, as you can see in this example, we have £890,000 of a lifestyle. But the problem is the second thing, which is the income cycle. And very often the income cycle is actually quite small, right? Because an average person here in UK earns about £30,000 per year. Now, if you have a dream life of £900,000, but your income is £30,000, now I'm not very good in maths, but there's a problem here, very clear problem, right? So one of these will have to change. And really, there's two solutions to this problem. And one solution that most people actually, unfortunately, choose is they choose to shrink their dreams. So instead of having a nice house, they just live in a flat. Instead of having a nice car, they're just driving a 15-year-old car. Instead of going on holiday every year, they go once or every 5 years or something like that. So they start shrinking their dreams to match the poor income that they are making. Now, for me, that doesn't really sound exciting, and that doesn't sound, very good. So that's where the second solution is to actually increase your income to match your dreams. So if you have big dreams, don't get rid of these dreams. Rather, go to work hard at your business so that you can develop the income to match those fantastic dreams. And that's, I think, is more exciting and more interesting to live a life like that. Also, it's about business mindset. Many people want to go from employed working for somebody else to become business owner and own their own business. Unfortunately, when they go to work for themselves, they end up going from employed to unemployed because there is no boss who keeps telling them what to do and keeps, kicking the bum every day and making them work hard. They stop working. They lose the motivation and they start pretending to work. They say, I got up in the morning and got dressed. That's just like working. I got in a car and drove somewhere. That's just like working. I sat in front of a computer, and that's just like working. But reality is that that is not work. The only time when we work in this business is actually when we are either presenting our product or we are presenting our business opportunity to somebody who is qualified to say yes and join or purchase this product. Anything else we do is preparation to work, and that is not actually work. So what I always say to new members in the business, I always say, have a think, how much work have you done today? How much work have you done this week? How many people you have actually met and show them this business opportunity? Or how many people who you have met and show them this product? This is the most important question. So really you have to ask yourself that, am I just pretending to work? Or am I actually working? Am I actually generating the activity that is actually going to earn me money? Because at the end of the day, I'm saying this not to discourage you, but to make sure that you're earning money. Also, some people are selling big business benefits with small business efforts. Now, what we mean by that is that in this business, we have various opportunities. We have an opportunity to earn some part-time, few £100 a month extra. Like in addition to the job, somebody might just get some part-time income. We also have an opportunity to earn a full-time income, couple of £1,000 a month, where a person can just basically full-time work with our company, basically own their own business, use a company as a vehicle to do that, and they're basically running a full-time business. And of course, we have the world-class income, where people can be earning £10,000 a month, 20, 30, 40, etc., £1,000 a month. However, we cannot say that you can do what this part-time person does and expect to earn a world-class £100,000 a year income. The effort that you have to put in for these different incomes is very, very different. So sometimes people say, well, you just recruit one person a month and you will be earning as the Jasper Star is earning or as the top leader is earning, etc. But reality is that that's not entirely true, because if you do very, very part-time, then you can expect a very, very part-time income. If you invest a lot of time and effort, then you can expect a bigger income. So sort of don't try and sell the big business benefits with small business efforts. Like Jim Rohn says, the best thing to do is under-promise and over-deliver. If the real numbers are not good enough, then you might rethink your pitch. An investment into business. Now, people who go in a traditional brick and mortar business, they know that any business requires an investment. If you were to open a restaurant, you invest money. If you were open to, a taxi company or a coffee shop or whatever, you have to invest money to buy premises, to buy inventory, to employ staff, etc. Now, luckily in our business, when we work from home, we don't have to invest money, but we still have to invest something to get a return. So what we invest is actually our time and effort. And the more time and effort we invest in, the higher the income we can expect to earn. I hope this actually makes sense. And it's really, you cannot expect, we always say you can't expect something to grow on a field unless you put the seed in. You can't expect, for the stove to give off heat unless you put some wood in it first. But some people are like that. They join this business and they say, pay me, and then I'll put some effort in it. But reality is that that's not how it works. We first have to put the time and effort in it, and then we get the return back. And of course, there is a progression in this business. So we start with what we call investment, which is you putting a full-time effort, but you're earning part-time income. Now, for many of you who come from an employee mentality where you have been employed in a job, this might not make a lot of sense, because you might say, if I'm putting full-time effort, I want to get full-time pay. But that's not really how it works in business. Usually, in a traditional business, in a traditional franchise, for example, it takes about 5 to 7 years just to break even, just to get the money back that you have invested in the business. So in this business, even though you don't have to invest any money, you still have to invest some effort and time with not that much return to begin with, because you're building it up. But the second stage then is when you're still putting a full-time effort, but now you start getting a full-time income back. So this is the stage which we call breaking even. So now you're putting full-time effort and you're getting full-time income. But if it just stopped here, then this would just be a job. But it isn't a job. Like we said, this is a business. So the next step is when you go into what we call growth, or the progress stage, where now you start putting in part-time effort, but you are still receiving a full-time income. This is what we call growth, and this is what we call passive income. As your business starts growing, a lot of things start happening without you actually being present, without you actually being there. So what happens is that it starts growing and you start earning more money than you actually putting the effort, which in a traditional job would be impossible, because in a job you only get paid for how many hours you put into that. And then the last stage is what we call financial freedom, or leverage, or when actually other people retire you from your position. So this is where you're putting some time, effort, and you're earning a full-time income plus some. So this is your world-class income. So once you have built a large organization, you start earning very, very good income with very, very little effort, because you have put all of this effort building this organization. So now it sort of gets into the snowball effect, or momentum, where people are being recruited and people are being added to your team without you even being present, because you have team leaders, you have other people who are also building the business quite fast. So this is really the beautiful part of the business and of the passive income. And this is a little chart just to illustrate that. So as you can see, on the left hand side here, you have the money, and on the bottom you have the time. And as you can see, different people progress at a different rate. So somebody might do it really fast, somebody might do it slightly slower, somebody slower, etc. So this is not a race at the end of the day, and everybody does it at their own pace. But once you look at this, you can see that first, this line here up above is what we call break-even point. So this is where you start earning full-time income from your full-time efforts. So until you reach that point, this is what we call the pain stage, where you're putting a lot of work, but you're not seeing a lot of return. But because you are business-minded and because you understand how business works, you're still working hard because you know that the return will come after. But then later, once you go over that break-even point, here at the top, you can see what we call a pleasure stage, where now you start reducing amount of effort you're putting in, but you're still earning quite good income. I mean, it's actually increasing. And the beautiful part is here you see a little green arrow that says infinite, which means that the growth of your income is infinite. Unlike in a normal job where you have a cap on how much money you can earn, here it's infinite. So you will increase and increase and increase and increase and increase. So this is the beautiful part of it, that you are not limited. The next thing is, are you a salesperson? Now, a lot of people are scared of this whole term of sales and salesperson, etc. They go, I'm not a salesperson, I don't know how to sell. I don't want to do anything with sales. But let's think about it. First of all, if I want you to join me and I want you to join my team, I have to sell myself. Because unless I sell myself to you, you're going to go, well, I don't want to join this person. I maybe look for another person, etc. So first thing, for you to join me, I have to sell myself. Secondly, in order for you to make a decision to join a company, I probably have to sell you the product, so you can really appreciate the quality of the product and say, you know what, this is a great product. I think this product is amazing value and amazing quality, so I think I can do business with this sort of product and make money. So I have to sell you the product too. And finally, I have to sell you the business idea. If I'm going to recruit you, I have to explain to you how this whole thing works and how does the marketing work and how you earn money with our company, etc. So I have to sell you the business concept too. So if you think about it, that's a lot of selling for a business where we say you don't need to sell. But really, you don't have to be scared about it, because for me personally, I believe that selling is nothing more than a transfer of feeling. Selling is not sleazy salesman techniques, and manipulation and all of that. Selling is just a transfer of feelings. So if I can make you feel the way I feel about this product, you're going to purchase this product. If I can make you feel the way I feel about this business, guess what? You're going to join my business. So very often we say that logic opens the mind and emotion closes the deal. So whenever you presenting whether your products or your business opportunity, you have to be passionate about it. You have to be emotional about it, because unless you can get excited about it, nobody else will get excited about it either. So you really, really have to put your passion. You have to transfer that feeling. Okay, the next thing is developing a winning attitude. And developing a winning attitude, what do I mean by that? Well, in order for you to win in this business, you have to have the right mindset. And this whole training really is about building a mindset. So one person that I always mention is a guy called Tom Big Al Schreiter, or we just call him Big Al. Now, when Tom first started in MLM, he wasn't very successful. Actually, for the first 1 year and 10 months, he and his wife haven't sold a single product and they haven't recruited a single person. Now, that was in part because of their skill level wasn't very good. And then when they realized that, they went to start learning and training, etc. And they became very successful. Actually, Tom became one of the most successful people in his company. And actually, he went on later to open his own MLM company. However, a couple of years later, somebody approached Tom and said, Tom, For nearly 2 years, you were so unsuccessful in this business. Why did you not quit? And he said, well, we didn't know we can quit. We thought we have to work and build this business until we become successful. And almost every one of you should have that type of attitude where quitting is not an option. They say winners never quit and quitters never win. So you really, really, really need to realize that, quitting is not an option. The other person I always mention is Julius Erving, and they used to call him Dr. J because he wasn't playing basketball; he was operating on that basketball, right? But he was one of the best basketball players, and he was, I think, the first basketball player to be paid $6 million for 1 year. Which in them days used to be a lot of money. Now, when they asked him what was his secret to success, what Julius said, he said, I demand more of myself than anybody else could ever expect. And that is, I think, a winning attitude. Because if you can demand more of yourself than your business demands, than your family demands, than your children demand, than your religion demands or whatever, then you will never have problems. You will always be exceeding the expectations. And that's what it's all about. It's about under promising and over delivering. So always, always, always think, do I demand more of myself? Has the world seen the best of me yet? Or do I have more to give? Or do I have more to show? Do I have more inside of me? And that's really what it is all about. The next thing is believing in your potential. And that is also so, so important, because what you must realize that nobody is better than you. They are just doing things you're not doing yet. That's the only difference. Nobody has 2 heads and 3 arms and 4 legs. Nobody has One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me? Just testing, just trying to get the sound back up. 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me? Hey, hey, hey. 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me? Testing, testing, testing. I think the sound is coming back up. Hey, we're back on track. Technology is not gonna let us down today, guys. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Fantastic. So let me put the screen back up. You should be able to see my slides in a second. Okay, just let me know when you see the slides again. Great stuff, great stuff, great stuff. All right, so you should be able to see the slides by now. Okay, so let's get back to it. The Y factor. So again, guys, if I disappear, again, just give a shout, so we're on track. We're in control here. Fantastic. So the Y factor is really your reason to succeed. And I can't emphasize how important that is. What is the reason for you to become successful? It's not just about, I want to be a diamond. I want to be a successful person. I want to be, a business person, whatever. What is the reason? What is the reason? Why should you be successful? And you have to really dig deep. Find these reasons, this motivating power, because this is what's going to help you to succeed. Because at the end of the day, if your why is small, if the reason to succeed is very, very small, where you go, it would be nice to become successful, but you're not really in it, then guess what? The how, or all the challenges and all the problems and all the difficulties will become so big that it will overwhelm you, and you'll go, it's just too much hassle to become successful in this business, so it's too much work, etc. It's just so too difficult. However, if your reason to become successful becomes so big where it's almost, like you have to become successful, and I always give an example of, when a child, gets under the car or something like that, and the mother comes and lifts the car. Now, under normal circumstances, the mother probably wouldn't be able to lift the car. But because here it's the baby's life at stake, it almost, how becomes not important. It becomes so small, it's irrelevant, because the reason to do it becomes so big. So that's how you should be looking at building a business. How important it is for you to become successful. How important it is for you to reach this financial freedom. How important it is for you to change other people's lives and to really, really, really achieve something in this lifetime. Something I heard recently, and it really just blew my mind. Somebody said, guess what, guys? This is not a practice life. This is it. A lot of people are acting like this is a practice run. They go, I'll screw this life up, but I'll do better in the next one. Guess what? This is it. This is your only go you get. So this is not a practice anymore. So you have to get going. You have to get, and get the most out of it. Because at the end of the day, at the end of your life, will you be able to see, I gave 100%. I did everything to really reach my potential, to really use everything I got. Or are you just sort of floating through life? Are you just sort of getting by, and surviving, etc.? That is not exciting. And I think, I don't want to get spiritual here, but I think, that we all were created for success. None of us were created for failure. Every one of you was created to succeed, I think. So that's really our mission, is almost to become successful, to get out there and really, really become successful in this business. So the next thing is about making a decision. And you have to make a decision. What life do you want to live? Do you want to live a first-class life, second-class life, or no class? Now, what do we mean by that? Well, it's your decision at the end of the day. Nobody can make that decision for you. And unless you make that decision, nothing is going to happen. What I mean by that is that if you don't believe in your head that you can be earning £100,000 or $100,000 per year, then guess what? It will never happen in reality in your life. Because if you don't believe it, your mind will almost sabotage you because you don't even believe that you can make that. So it all starts with a decision. With you sitting down and saying, okay, I decide that I will reach this level by the end of this month. I decide that I will reach this level by the end of this year. I decide that I will do this, that, and the other. You have to make that decision first. Once you made a decision, then you go to action and you put the necessary work and effort into it in order to achieve it. But it all starts with a decision, and you have to decide. You have to make that decision for you. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the key to failure and key to success. Very often people look and search for this secret of success. And I was looking for a secret to success for a long time. And finally I found it. So this is it, guys. The key to success and key to failure. You see, the key to failure is small errors in judgment repeated every day. That is the key to failure. Now, the key to success is small disciplines practiced every day. Now, let me put this in a perspective so it makes a little bit more sense to you guys. Now, imagine somebody smoking. Now, the problem with smoking is that it doesn't kill you instantly. Because if it killed you instantly, as soon as you had your first cigarette, nobody would ever smoke. But the problem is that it doesn't kill you instantly. It kills you over time. So people don't see any difference. They go, oh, I smoked a cigarette, nothing happened. I smoked another one, nothing happened. And they carry on smoking. But over time, bit by bit, that curve starts going down. And about 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe 60 years later, they have a lung cancer. And then they go, oh, where did this lung cancer came from, right? But it didn't just happen instantly at that point in time. What happened is that it was the accumulation of all the smoking that they have done through years and years and years. And exactly the same way with success. So one of the things I could say, okay, guys, I can have a look and I can see this now, we have people attending this webinar, right? Now you are here, you're listening to this webinar, you're spending your Monday morning watching this webinar, right? Now somebody might not be watching this webinar. They are probably sitting at home in front of a television and watching, I don't know, a soap opera, right? Or whatever, having a beer or something like that, right? Now you might think about it. Now, the fact that you watch this webinar, are you going to make more money? No. I mean, not instantly anyway. You're not going to make any money for watching this webinar today. And that person is sitting on the couch watching television. Are they going to make any money? No, they're not going to make it either. Now, it might appear that there is no difference then. You are investing in yourself and you listening to this training, but you haven't made any money for doing so. And that person is sitting on a couch, watching television, and they haven't made any money. So it looks like there's no difference. However, if you keep attending trainings, doing presentations, showing product, showing business to other people, going to conferences, investing in yourself, do you think there will be any difference over time compared to that person who keeps sitting on a couch, doing nothing over time? I think there will be a massive difference. One, two, three, guys. Can you hear me? I can see that you're writing that the sound has gone off again. Okay, I think we're coming back online. Please refresh your screen if the webinar freezes. Sometimes you need to refresh the internet page if the webinar freezes, but I think, yeah, I think it's coming back on now. So let me bring the screen back up. Okay, so let's try and continue. If you can just type in the chat box if you can hear me and see me and everything is okay, and we'll then continue. Right, so the whole point here with this key to failure and key to success is that success does not happen instantly. Failure does not happen instantly. If it did, it would be very, very helpful. But the problem is that it happens over time. And that's why sometimes people don't see the instant money, they don't see the instant earning, and they go, this business doesn't work. I did it for 3 months, I haven't made a million, I quit. But what they don't realize that sometimes it takes a little bit longer than just a month or two or three to succeed in a business. Sometimes you have to put a little bit more effort and more time into it to really become successful. And that's really the whole point behind it. So really what we need to do is understand that and teach it to other people too, that you have to give it some time. Okay, the other thing is change in perspective. And what I mean by that is that, I like Zig Ziglar saying, and he says that you can have everything you want in life if you just help enough other people to get what they want. Now, this is very powerful on few different levels. One level that is powerful is, of course, it's all about helping others. It's about helping people and sharing this opportunity, not being greedy and not just keeping it to yourself. But the other reason why it's so important is because it helps you. A lot of people are not very successful in this business because they're afraid of talking to other people. And the reason why they're afraid of talking to other people and offering them the business or the product is because they have what we call the fear of rejection. So they basically are afraid that the other person will reject them and say no to them, basically. But if you think about it, that fear can only come if you have selfish reasons in mind. Because if you're thinking, I need to sell this product to this person, or I need to recruit this person into my business so I can make more money, then you might be afraid that they will say no, and you won't be able to do that. However, if in your mind, you have a mindset in your head saying that if I give this opportunity to people, it will help them to make more money, and then you offer it to somebody and somebody says no, then it's their loss. Because you offered them a solution to the problem they have, you gave them an opportunity to earn more money, and they said no to you. Now, it doesn't affect you because you have another 7 billion people on this planet. So you're not going to ever run out of people to talk to. But it's bad for them because they said no to an opportunity to earn more money. So then this way, if you have this sort of mindset, then you should never feel the fear of rejection. Because they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting an opportunity to earn money for themselves. So this way, if you have this in mind, that you are out there to change people's lives, and your focus is to help these people, not to gain for yourself, then it changes everything. Because then you want to share this opportunity with every person who is breathing out there, because you have an opportunity to change these people's lives, and there's nothing to be ashamed because you're trying to help them to earn more money. So it's what we call the you appeal. How can I help you? Okay. The other thing is becoming millionaire. And like I said earlier on, decide to become a millionaire not for the money, but for what it makes of you to become one. Because in order to have something that you have never had, you will have to become somebody you've never been, or you'll have to do something you've never done. And sometimes I speak to people, they say, oh, I have 10 years experience. But I often say that, you don't have 10 years experience. What you have 1 year's experience repeated 10 times. What I mean by that is that many people don't learn from their mistakes. So they keep repeating the same mistakes year after year after year, and then they are surprised why their life hasn't changed, why their income hasn't changed, why they haven't built a wealth, that they wanted to build. But the reality is, if you don't learn from your mistakes, then you'll keep doing them. So this is why it's so important to review, to look back at the week that just passed and say, what did I do this week? What can I learn from last week, and what can I improve next week? How can I have another week that is better? How can next month be even better? How can next year be even better? And learning from these mistakes, fixing them, and putting your effort into getting something better, doing more. And that's really the whole idea. Because many people go, every new year, they go, oh, I'm going to quit smoking. And 2 weeks later, they're buying a new packet of cigarettes. At the New Year's, they go, oh, I'm going to lose some weight this year. And guess what? 3 weeks later, they're back at the Burger King, eating burgers and chips, etc. That is not going to work. If we keep repeating the same mistakes, same way in business. People go, yeah, this year, I'm definitely going to hit that higher level. I'm definitely become financially free. I'm definitely going to earn more money. And then 2 weeks later, they haven't spoken to anybody about the business, or they haven't showed anybody the product. And I go, well, that's not going to work, is it? Because you're just repeating the same mistakes. And Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That is insanity, because we have to change something for the results to change. And there are two keys to accomplishment, really the two main keys. One is the wise use of all of your resources. And many of you are so talented people. You have so much skill, and you have so much knowledge, and you have so much talent, but sometimes you're just not using it. You're just not maximizing it. You're just not putting that to work. I meet so many talented, skillful people who could really do amazingly in this business, but I see they waste all of that talent by just not using it, by just not acting on it. So I always say, you can have the best knowledge and the best information in your head, but unless you put it to action, then it makes no difference. It's just useless. It's just wasted. The second key to accomplishment is full development of all of your potential. So once you realize your resources and you're using them wisely, then you have to develop your full potential. Like I said earlier on, has the world seen the best of you yet? Or do you have more inside you? Do you have more fire inside you to really achieve something greater, to change more lives, to do more? And we have to learn from the nature at the end of the day. Because if you think about it, if you plant a tree, how tall will the tree grow? Well, actually, as tall as it can. If it has enough water, enough sun, and a fertile ground, it will grow as tall as it can. A little fish, how big the fish will grow? Well, if you give it enough food and nutrition and everything, it'll grow as big as it can, right? So the whole of the nature is designed to reach the maximum of its potential. And guess what? The humans are exactly the same way. However, the problem is, or the challenge is, that humans have been given a dignity of choice. So they can choose to become successful or not. And unfortunately, unlike this fish and this tree that doesn't have any choice, people choose not to develop their full potential. They choose not to go to the maximum, not to do everything they can. And this is why I always ask people, has the world seen the best of you? Are you contender or are you pretender? Are you here to win and to become a champion, or are you here just to be one of the numbers, one of the bums on the seats, as we call? And you have to ask yourself, why not you? Do you have the belief, commitment, and hard work required to become successful? Because excellence is just the result of always striving to be better. Better than yourself, not better than somebody else, but better than yourself last week, better than yourself last month. How are you improving on you? And like I said, the secret is not about getting ahead of others, but getting ahead of ourselves. And also, one of the quotes I really like, it says, the hard work is the best substitute for talent. So sometimes people think, oh, I have to have this talent of recruiting. I have to have this talent of selling. I have to have this talent of communication. Guess what? Hard work is much better than talent. Hard work will beat talent 10 times out of 10. If you work hard, you will always beat somebody who has talent but doesn't work hard. So really, we always laugh. We say, if you work hard, you will get lucky. And we can either look for reasons to succeed, or we can look for excuses to fail. One or the other. We can't have the both. So you can either look for reasons to succeed and why should you become successful, or you can look for all the excuses why you shouldn't become successful and why you should fail in this business. And where our focus goes, that's where our energy flows. So if you focus on negative stuff, guess what? You're gonna have more negative stuff in your life. If you focus on all the positive stuff, guess what? You'll have more positive stuff. That's just how the brain works. That's how the universe works. So you have to really focus on things that you want, not on things that you don't want. So I personally, those who know me well, they know that I don't watch news. I don't read newspapers. I don't listen to the news on my car radio, because that is just negative, negative, negative stuff. And if I focus on this negative stuff, guess what I'm getting more of in my life? I get more of negative stuff. So I don't want that. So what I do, I always focus on positive stuff. I rather read a book, that is positive or educational or inspirational. In my car, it's full of CDs, Brian Tracy, Anthony Robbins, Jim Rohn, you name it. These guys are driving with me all the time, and these are the CDs in my stereo. I don't even know if my radio works, because I always listen to these CDs because I want to charge myself with positive energy, and I want to educate myself as much as I can. And not reaching your full potential is something like buying a Ferrari and driving it at 40 miles an hour. Now, that's not fun, guys. This is not what that car was made for. That car was made for driving it, 140 miles an hour. So really, that's like, a lot of people have this life that is full of potential. They can do so much, but they're driving it at 40 miles an hour. You were born to be a champion, and this is how you need to decide to act like a champion. So decide what you want and then go for it with everything you got. There's only two things required for success. First thing is you have to decide what is it that you want in life. Second thing, then, you have to think, what is it you're going to have to sacrifice to get that? Because there's a price to pay for success and there's a price to pay for failure. So if you know that, I'd rather pay for price for success and succeed than pay the price for failure. But there's always going to be a price to pay. It's not going to come for free. It's not going to come without doing anything. And like I said, humans are the only ones that have been given a choice, and many humans, unfortunately, choose not to strive to their full potential, choose not to really achieve the success that they were born to achieve. And the difference between ordinary and extraordinary people is very, very simple, guys. The difference is the extra. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. So are you going the extra mile? Are you doing the little bit more than everybody else does in your team? Are you doing a little bit more than everybody else does in your job? Are you doing a little bit more than everybody else does? That's what it's all about. Sometimes it's just that extra little bit, extra step, extra hour a day, extra, presentation, one extra, meeting every week, etc. That's what makes the difference. When you have Olympics and you have the runners, there's not a difference, in terms of minutes or hours between them. Usually it's just a second difference or a split second difference between the person who was number one and the person who was number two. And guess who everybody's going to remember? They're going to remember the number one. So really, sometimes it's just that little bit extra, putting a little bit more of yourself, a little bit more of your passion, a little bit more of your heart into the business that is going to make all the difference. And you have to build a foundation for your business. And guess what's the foundation for your business in this type of business? Foundation is you. So like Jim Rohn says, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So always, 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 always invest in yourself. That's the biggest asset you have, is you. You are the biggest asset you have. And in order to earn more, guess what? You have to learn more. That's it. That's it. It's as simple as that. You have to raise your value in the marketplace. Because if you think about it, you can have a company, and in the same company, you have somebody who works for £5 an hour, and you have another person who works for £50 an hour. Now, is that possible? Is it possible that two people would be working for the same company and one would get paid £5 an hour, other one would get paid £50 an hour? Absolutely. The difference is that the value that these two people bring to the company. If somebody has no experience, no education, no passion, no enthusiasm, then they're going to get very, very little money. But if another person is a superstar, they bring a lot to the business, they bring a lot to the company, they put in 100% in, then the company can pay them more because they bring in more value. And one of the biggest ways to increase your value is to educate yourself. Educate yourself about these things, because this is what brings your value. If somebody is considering whether to join your team or somebody else's team, they might evaluate you. They might say, do I want to join this person's team? Will they have enough knowledge and experience and skill in them to train me to reach my results that I want to reach? Or are they just trying to fake it until they make it? And plan ahead. We always say failing to plan is planning to fail. Now, if you spoke to 100 people who failed in their business, none of them will say, oh, yes, I planned to fail. I wanted to fail. None of them wants to fail. But because they don't plan to succeed, the failing happens by default. So success does not happen by chance or by mistake. It happens on purpose. So you have to sit down and plan. And I mean plan on paper, not in your head. Make it on paper. Make a plan. What is it that I want to achieve? How many people do I want to have in my team? How many customers do I want to have? What sort of level do I want to achieve? What sort of income every month do I want to achieve? Then what is it that I'm going to do? What is my action plan? What are the steps do I need to take to get there, to achieve those results that I want to achieve? You have to plan this stuff. It's not going to happen by mistake. If you just come to the meetings every week, it's just not going to happen by chance. Hey, guys, I saw that the sound gone off for a second. Again, let's just check. Okay, it should be back up. Is it back up? Just refresh your screen. Okay, let's get back into it. You should hear me in a second. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Okay.